Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Sequanquility YouTube channel. I'm Rick LaBonte, filling in for your CEO, the host with the most, Peter Pardo. Now, we know he's a very busy guy and just got a little bit more busier. So I offered to help out, and he knew I would like to do this one. We'll have an exclusive interview with a special talent from Sweden, who I discovered this great vocalist by following this band called the Flower Kings. No stranger to this community. We talk about the Flower Kings quite a bit. A lot of reviews, ranking the albums, and so forth. And I was brought to my attention as we became Facebook friends that he has another band, his own band, and HFMC, Hasse Fröberg musical companion, guys that he's been playing with for a while now, 6 albums later. So I don't know how that fell off our radar, but me and Pete want to correct that. So I had able to get a deep dive into some of the discography, and especially the 2024 release, Eternal Shapshots. Thanks for the gift. I got the caught up. I got to get a couple more, almost completed. I need Future Past, Power Play, and Eternal Life, Parallel Life. I need that one, and I'll complete it. But here's the thing, I've already been a fan of your work from all the Flower Kings records, and just to add this to my collection is a bonus. And so welcome to the show. Thank you for making time available for us.
Thanks a lot, Rick. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
So, and again, you're a busy guy, which I learned later, because not only the Flower Kings as the lead vocalist, plays guitar, percussion, a little bit of everything if you want. Very animated singer. I have 3 DVDs, so I always love watching you perform. You got a great stage presence. And but I didn't know you had 6 albums as well. So when you think about Flower King, 16 or 17, if you want to count the first Flower King was as a solo album. But then on, you joined that band, and little did I know you had 6 great albums out there. Plus, not counting the live stuff. So you've been a busy guy. And so I just want to point out to everybody before we start talking about the album, Pete did do a review on this record in the late July. So if you want to check it out after this interview, by all means, he gave it a raving review like I would. It's a great sounding album, ear candy moment. And so I just want to get started if you don't mind. So when we talk about this album, I learned from following it, listening over it, kind of a loose concept album, if I'm correct. And so what I noticed is that with your timetable and everything, did you guys allocate some time and a place to write an album because you had some downtime with the Flower Kings? Or do you just wait till you got enough material kicking around that you felt that you had enough to bring to the table to start a new album? How do you go about it?
Normally that is the case, but this time around we had a meeting at a summer house about 2 hours north from where we live, at a friend of mine or a friend of ours. So we sat down face to face, all of us, and played on acoustic guitars and stuff, and showed that, well, this is an idea I have, what do you think, etc. And then the same goes for all the guys. Maybe not Anton, who is, I don't know, he doesn't let the guitar play. For some reason, he don't want to contribute with the songwriting. But nevertheless, the session turned out great. And we came up with some, for instance, the song Wherever You May Go is 100% a collaboration between Ola and me, the drummer. I had what later became the start, the acoustic intro, and me singing together with the acoustic guitar. And then when the band kicks in, that is more or less Ola's idea. And then we kind of made a mix of the 2 different. So
that's because you got 4 collaborators on this album.
Yes, and we have 4 songwriters. And to me, that is just great because it gives the music a lot of colors. And because back in the day when the first 2 albums, I wrote everything. I arranged everything. I told the guys almost exactly what they should play. But from the 3rd album, which was titled HFMC, by the way, Ola started to contribute with music. And from Parallel Life, after that, we had I mean, Shell came along writing as well, and so now it's and then from the previous album, We Are the Truth, we got a new bass player, and he proved to be a great songwriter too. So now we all of a sudden have 4 songwriters, and I couldn't be more happier, because it's
more of a
not,
band feel, right? It's more of a
yeah,
band feel.
it gets a band feel, and some people ask me, but what do you think? Don't you want to write the songs yourself? No, I've been doing that for so many years now. So it's, for me, it's, as you said, it's good because it gives a band feel, and I think we all can benefit from it, and the music gets more interesting instead of me writing every single note. So to
That's
me,
right.
it's just great.
And it builds that camaraderie, and when they know their own DNAs in the songwriting, it just makes everybody feel ownership to the band. It really feels like a band. You may be, I mean, you are still the band leader, and you still write all the lyrics, but they bring that that music texture that, you know, not all of us will think of, and you take the best idea, right? It don't have to be our idea. It could be the best idea that comes to us. You make a song out of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, if it hasn't happened yet, but I mean, if for some reason the idea isn't good enough or whatever, I wouldn't have any problems. Tell the guys, and I'm sure they would take it the right way. I mean, we're not teenagers, or we're not in our 20s. We're like
That's
very,
right.
very mature elder men by now. So I think we can take a no in that case. But so far it's been what do you say? I would say only positive things with all the guys on board writing. It gives a great feel to the band, and as I told you, more variety, and it makes the music more exciting.
And it's definitely a musical companion. That's for sure. That's what
Yeah,
speaks the volume of that, because everybody's idea is valued. You don't have to always use it. It's just the fact, bring it on, folks, and we'll take the very best, because that's what it's always about. The music,
yeah,
the end game. It's never about individual. It's what you want to do for the art. Speaking of
yeah.
art, I gotta share this to everybody. The artwork, that is incredible. I really like that. So how did you come up with this song, the album title?
The album title is actually, I don't know, might be a bit weird, but I was thinking, because this, as you just mentioned, it's I wouldn't say concept album, but I had like
A theme.
a theme, yeah, because I was trying to stay away from the normal subjects I write about, and I wanted to try to write lyrics in a new way. So, and that kind of, I wouldn't say forced me, but well, it kind of forced me to think and write in a new way. Well, I can put it like that, and it's, the theme is, there's 2 persons, a female, or a young girl growing up to be a woman, and she has a rough upbringing, and things are not looking good. And then we have this male character, which is he's born in a happy family, and everything is golden, you know, and everything works smoothly for him. And the title is, I'm thinking of, because there is no really start or finish. It's just, we making snapshots into these people's lives. That's what we are doing in these songs. And I mean, new lives are being born every second, so it's an ever ongoing thing. New lives are, with all that comes to it, with you know, whatever it might be, you know. Some have a happy life, some have a miserable life, and I just wanted to get snapshots out of these 2 people's lives, from they were young to they're getting older, you know, and along the way. So that's why the title, really.
And because like normally some people might write a title track, but this is the theme that kind of wrapped up all the songs. By the way, Some of my favorite songs, I got to talk about them because I love Deserve to Be Happy, really well
Yeah,
arranged. I love Blind Dog. I know that's one of yours too. No Messiah, the vocal ear candy stuff you do in the beginning of that, it's just wonderful. It just kind of lift me up. And I really love the separation, but once in a lifetime. Like every album got to have a masterpiece or something that that brings everybody in. Once in a Lifetime is a beautiful song, and that was how I learned about your album because I believe you did a video or it was a soundbite that I was getting a snippet of, and I'm like, so he has his own band, and that's how I got into that. But man, Once in a Lifetime, well written. Where were you when you write songs like that, or even Blind Dog? Is that something you say, oh, we need a little bit of a rocker, or is that just something you brought to the table and the guy said, let's just jump on it?
the if I'm speaking about Once in a Lifetime, that was the first song that actually that came to me, and it was that song that started the process of writing music for Eternal Snapshots, and it started with a guitar riff in the chorus. That's where it all started, and I'd say 1 hour later I had the song, including that crazy kind of circus, whatever it is, Beatles kind of solo in the middle. So every now and then you're lucky, and I could feel it right away when I wrote it. This is going to be good. I could feel it.
What? It's like once in a lifetime people get these moments. I mean, you don't get once in a lifetime, but if you're lucky to get it, to think
Yeah,
the song title kind of speaks to that because it's nice that it fell on your lap like that because it's wonderful. It's something everybody was gonna look forward to coming to the tracking of the album. I mean, it feels like to me when I listen to start and finish, it's like a little miniature show, a little concert from the beginning and the way you open and close it with those two the same song and we prize it part two. I think it has nice bookends. It's like I like a story. You open it up and once upon a time and you close it happily ever after, if you will. I just feel that it was appropriately done. And just like many of our favorite prog groups or bands that have concept albums, they kind of do that tradition of
yeah,
opening and closing. So you kept that in there. But honestly, people can listen to individual song as its individual song. Not like in some concept albums, you need the 4 or 5 songs to get the matches or to
yeah.
feel like it's a cohesive project. With individual songs, they have its own merit. So it's really nice how you did that. It does have an album feel, but every song stands out as its own song.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. And the other one you mentioned, uh,
Blind Dog?
Blind Dog, it was like pretty much as you said, because this was about the young lady having her rough life and everything. And I thought to myself, well, this one needs more of a rocking attitude and
Mm.
most of the other music on the album. So, and I mean, I have no problem to what do you say? Yeah, to tell you, it sounds a lot like Deep Purple, and it does with Shell's Hammond organ and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I've been a huge Purple fan all my life, so
Same
why
here,
not?
my friend. Same here. My
Yes,
first concert ever.
yeah, there you go. So, but that musically, maybe that song stands out because it's a little bit more raw and a little bit more. I mean, the attitude is more. It's clearly more rock and roll than progressive rock. But at the
Absolutely.
same, I think it belongs in there because it's all about dynamics. And
That's
as you
what I was
said,
gonna say that. I was just gonna
yeah,
say that. It's all about dynamic and the ebb and flow of the record. You don't want it all to be consistent, one dimension, and you didn't do that. I mean, in fact, every track. I mean, some of those songs, I love how, like, which one I'm thinking of? Was it? There's a couple of songs like 3 minutes in, then they go to a little bass part, and then just a little instrumental change. I love that kind of stuff, and
yeah,
it takes you on a little adventure. It's cool how you can wrap that up in a 5, 6, or even 7 minutes in some songs. All those adventure, all those different moments that's wrapped up, and it doesn't feel like it overstays welcome. It's always the right length to me. Just as you ran its course, you're onto another thing. I like that.
Cool. Yeah, and it was fun. I mentioned to you earlier, just when we started talking, that I did an interview with a really hard rock podcast we have over here, and it was kind of fun because these guys probably haven't listened that much to progressive rock, and that there was 2 guys interviewing me, and one of the guys, he had listened quite a bit to the new album, and to him it was like it was like more or less like you said, it's an adventure because you never know what will happen the next bar.
Exactly.
I think I guess they're listening to hard rock or metal most of the time, and to them this music might be very adventurous compared to that. So so it was great to hear, and I could really see when they told me that he enjoyed. It was like when you discover new music almost. I could get that sense of feeling when I heard him talk about his experience listening to the album, and that's cool.
That's right. I mean, this has the the best of some of the classic rock album, arena rock. I do hear Deep Purple. I hear some Yes in here. I hear quite a bit, but it's also very modern with the production and very original. And one of the things I wanted to comment is that, because I've been following your voice, I loved your theatrical voice, the musical part, when you really sing like Dennis DeYoung does when Styx, when he wants to open Paradise Theater with that vocal. Did you ever participate in a musical or theater when you were a kid or anything? Because I saw these different personalities in your voice, from the rocker, the clear singing, the high singing, some of the low tone, but then you sang like you were on the edge of a stage, like a musical theater, not opera, but more like a musical. And you know what I'm talking about?
I've never done anything like that, and I haven't been asked to do it either. But I think I understand what you are referring to, and especially on this new album, because when I recorded the vocals, at times it felt like I was doing a musical almost. So I was in that kind of mode, probably just because the lyrics were a bit different than I usually sing about, and I wanted to portray these 2 people the best way I could. So.
And you did that well, because you know what? When you're singing, you have to carry that emotion, but you're the actor in that scene. You really, like when I hear it, it's just not a guy singing to a rock and roll thing, swagger. This is an emotion. You're in character here. Because when I hear some of the vocals, that's why I'm giving that impression. You really touched something that I don't hear in every album. And I really enjoyed that because it showed that side of your voice and the emotion, because honestly, the song deserved it. It was a perfect approach for a song like that to be convincing.
Yeah, thank you. It's very hard to tell because I really can't have an objective mind since I'm the person who's singing. But I felt while I was tracking the vocals for this album that I had something going on. I could clearly feel that.
Right.
For whatever reason, I don't know. But and I think probably has a lot to do with the material that I liked. I liked it a lot when I recorded it, and the guy, the sound engineer I'm working with, this must be our 4th album together, and we have kind of developed a really great relationship in the studios, and he kind of brings out the best.
I can relate to that. I have an engineer just like that, and they know the strength and weakness, and they can bring out the best. But when you have a good working relationship, the ideas will be just that much better because somebody can honestly know how you work and grab the very best at you at those times, right?
Yeah, that's it. And especially, you know, maybe some words you just sing them, but he directly tells me, now it sounds like you don't mean what you sing, and you have to, you know, and
Oh,
he
wow.
has a certain way when he describes how he experienced when I'm in there singing. So now he really, by the way, his name is Petrus
I was
Königsson,
just gonna
and
say that you share producing credits with them.
yeah, and he's a great guy, and we're a good team in the studio. I have to say that.
And you know what? It's evident. It's there. It's the evidence there. You can tell. And let's talk about the other members in your band. Could you introduce them real quick?
Yeah, we have next to me in the back the bass player Sampo Axelsson, bass player pedal steel, and also quite I would say a very capable songwriter. In the middle we have Kjell Haraldsson, who is the keyboard player, also writing songs. The other blonde dude is Anton Lindsjö, lead guitarist, and on the other side of the picture we have Ola Strandberg, drums, and some occasional guitars, and writes lots of music nowadays.
Right
So
on.
and we've been the same five guys except for that our previous bass player. He what do you say, retired, not retired, he quit the band anyway. And it was like Sampo been with us for the last two records, but he's been like a vitamin injection, I would say, and really he's very he's an inspiration, I would say, and contributes with music and so on. So it's I'm very happy with the lineup we're having now. So that feels good, really good.
So what stands out different from this album than the previous album, besides some member changes and being a loose concept album? I think the last time, would you have been affected by COVID before? Maybe this album not? Or how was this? Because you said you got in the room together, so obviously you can
Yeah,
mingle.
this was recorded after the pandemic,
Yeah,
but the previous album, We Are the Truth, we recorded that right in the middle of the
yeah. So that's
pandemic. So
the difference right there.
we had a big studio room where we tracked the backing tracks, and we were sitting far away from each other, you know. So it was kind of weird, but we did manage to get the work done, and I'm quite happy with that album too, if I'm being honest. But I
Yeah.
think the new one is, to my ears, is a little bit more. The music is a little bit more interesting, but there's some really nice songs from the previous one too.
I
And
agree. I agree. Like I was saying before, this is consistent to the what I have. I don't have it all, but from what I
uh,
have, it sounds
yeah,
like that band style. But the thing is, like this album, none of those songs are the same. They're always a little different. They always got a different spin, and I like that about your songwriting. You always brought something different, a different angle. Though I could tell it's penned by the same person, because your lyrically is always pretty positive or pretty deep. You're not I don't find you like offensive or anything. I just find it seems to be a positive outlook. I wanted to ask you. More about you and your, the voice and as a leader. What started you as a kid? I learned that you were playing before you were a teenager. Is this a family thing, a friend thing, or is this a self-discovery about music?
I mean, there was no really music. I mean, my dad loved. I mean, big band jazz, Oscar Peterson and Duke Ellington, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. My mother loved Elvis Presley, but I mean, they didn't sing or they didn't play. But I was lucky enough to have neighbors that were, I would say, let's say between a couple of them 5 or 10 years older. So I was there before I turned 10, I guess. I was there with my cassettes, asked them to record Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and
Right
Deep
on.
Purple, and things, Nazareth and whatever, The Sweet, for me. So that's where it all started. And then all of a sudden, a neighbor that was my age, his parents got divorced, and all of a sudden a new guy, actually from USA, from America, from New York, moved in there, and he brought Mountain and Fleetwood Mac and Yes and Genesis and stuff, which was totally new for me. So I got that very early too. As a boy, I was also, I mean, I was playing football and ice hockey and things, but by the time we were getting like 15, 16, music took over. And I had this little pop band, and our dads drove us, and we played in youth clubs and school dances. And, we were like 15, 16, 17, and 18, something like that. And then we quit because, as I told you, like heavy rock and progressive rock has always been the music I preferred listening to.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
But so back then we started a band called Spellbound, which was we started in 83, and our first album got released in 1984. So that's 40 years ago now. So that's why I'm kind of celebrating 40 years as a recording artist, even though I had actually recorded a single, like a 45 in 1978, where I sang in a blues band called Barrel House. Very, very strange. I don't know how I ended up there really, but and I hadn't even reached my mature voice. I sounded like I was 14. So it's embarrassing. But anyway, and we reached, or we gained some success with Spellbound, and this, by the way, the second album we recorded in London together with, to be honest, it wasn't a perfect match. His name was Vic Mail, and he produced bands like Motorhead. I mean, the classic albums, ASOS, all those, and Girl School, and lots of British, like dirty rhythm and blues bands like Dr. Feelgood and the Pirates and such bands. But he was super professional, super nice, great to work with, but his sound wasn't really that good for us. It was almost too dirty, I would say. Anyway, but we kept going for a couple of years until I started a band called Solid Blue. We also recorded a record. We toured a lot. We did one tour in England, actually 10 shows. And the funny thing, the first demo we recorded with Solid Blue, Roine Stolt was the sound engineer. So that's where you heard my voice the first time, I guess.
I see.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that. How did that happen? Like, how do you be a guest? And lo and behold, you end up being a member of the Flower King. Once his album took off, he needed a band to back it up. But were you just popular in the circle, or because he worked on you, he remembered you?
Yeah, and I think that was the first time. And maybe a couple of years later, they had like this open jam night at a club in Uppsala, and he was part of the band that was playing.
I see.
And people throw me up on stage, and I was going to sing something, and so that's where we bonded a little bit, and I was like a background singer. I did background vocals on even on the albums before I joined. So
That's right.
So my voice was in there in the overall sound somehow. And then I joined the band in 97. And we played, we've been to USA and Canada many times, and South America and Japan and Europe. I don't know. I mean, it's almost a tour after every record. So unfortunately, it's been a while since we were able to make it to the US and Canada, because the prices has become insane to get over there with the flights, and you need the working visas and everything. So it's hard to make it work economically.
Yeah.
If
It's
it was
not easy. It's not easy.
now, if it wasn't for that, we'd be over there in a second, believe me, because we do have a fan base. So and it feels weird to not be able to come over and play, but it is like it is.
Yeah, well, this before we get into more of that, I also wanted to know, was the HFMC a result that when Rone did the transatlantic thing, he had another project. That means the Flower King isn't always working. So is that how that all started, or just friends you just wanted you were on a mission to make some more music, and I don't know.
Yeah, you're kind of right. In 2008, we stopped playing because things were not good in the band. And I actually I thought the days with the Flower Kings are over. So I said to myself, am I going to join a band, or am I going to start a new band myself? And I said, well, I have a handful of songs that I've written that I actually thought about presenting for Roine. But at that time, there was no Flower Kings. So anyway, that's when I started the music. And then 4 years later, in 2012, we made a comeback with the Flower Kings. So I was all of a sudden in two bands, and I remember that very year, we all, I think it was 2 months between the releases. Our second album, Power Play, in April, and then the Banks of Eden, the Flower Kings album of 2012 was released in June. So, and it was quite hectic with shows with both bands and so on. But since then, we've always been able to kind of. You have to be organized and plan so it doesn't clash. But we've been able to do that, and it works. For now, it works fine, I think. And right now, I think the band is. I'm talking about Flower Kings now. We're in a good place, and it's having lots of fun playing again. And as a matter of fact, we're going into the studio next week to start recording the next album.
That's fantastic. That's great. Well, over 40 years in the business, what are some of the highlights that you can look back and look back and say those some key moments? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I would want to know what first thing comes to mind when you think of some of the highlights of your career.
I mean, Japan is very special. If you, for once in your life, want to feel like what it is to be a rock star, go over there and play. I mean, the last time we were there, I said to the guys, it can't be no difference if you're in the Rolling Stones or the Flower Kings. You live on the best hotels. Everything from when the plane, from when they take care of you in the arrival hall till they leave you at the departure hall, it's just perfect.
That's good.
And great venues. The staff working there are super. Everything is just super. And then again, I mean, I've done TV, like directly broadcasted TV a couple of times here in Sweden, and that's always very nerve-wracking, but at the same time very, very interesting and fun. But if you've never been nervous before, you definitely will be nervous before you see that it's like 3 seconds.
No doubt.
So you have 2 million Swedes looking at sitting in their home looking at the telly.
Yeah, I think that would be more nerve-wracking than even doing a whole DVD of your own concert, because at least you know your environment.
Yeah. That was also quite a task, because we normally, not normally, but very often, you you film a couple of concerts and then you choose the best. This is one concert from start to finish.
And that's nice.
So it was, and then play for some good 2 hours, I think. So it's not it was a task, but I think it came out pretty good
That was a
anyway.
magical night. And in fact, I'll go to my next question because I did thank to you sending me a copy of the
Yeah,
Flower King Live because I really, I have a couple already. But what was surprising me about this, because first of all, I'm glad because it showcased some of the new stuff from the Look at You Now album, a couple of songs, but it's a single CD, which surprised
yeah,
me because the Flower Kings are known for double throwing everything in it, including the kitchen sink, if you will. They give you a book, they give you a poster if they could. They always give some. I was surprised that it's a single disc, but mind you, the recording, the ear candy moment. I mean, this is a well done live album. I really like it, and I'm enjoying and hearing those songs done live that I didn't have before. But
yeah.
was this night the same thing? Where was it the best of the couple nights, or was this a one night plan to record it at this venue like this one? Was
No, the Flower Kings is actually record. It's two concerts that
two?
we've two concerts. So it shows the best versions.
Yep.
And the tour we played for 2 hours, the whole tour. But I don't know. It as you say, it's not like Roine to release 1 hour of live music when we played for 2 hours. But I think he kind of felt like. I really don't know, but that's the way how it came out in the end, and I think so too. Well, it sounds great.
Oh, it
Uh,
does. It does.
and if I'm being totally honest with you, I miss some of the up tempo stuff we played because it feels I can feel it lacks some bit of up tempo songs. But apart from that, it's a great album. That's me personally.
And I
So
liked it. But do you remember that night really well? Like, do you remember those two nights? Or
yeah, we did 23 shows on that tour, as if I remember correctly, and these are among the 5 or 6 last ones. So we were kind of in the flow, and especially one of those nights, it was in the Netherlands in Uden. That was great from start to finish. I'm surprised that we didn't choose all the songs from that.
I see.
But Ronnie told me there were some parts or some songs that were better on the other. So I mean, I trust him. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. He knows what he's doing.
what is soon.
But that's great though, eh? It's a good problem to have when you have that much stuff that you could actually do, put out a double CD, and that's all good. Was there any footage, like filmed, anything like recorded visually?
No, we were discussing that, but I mean, after the pandemic, it's like all the prices had skyrocketed. I mean, everything from nightliners to get a crew filming, everything is so expensive. So it's you really need to think twice before you do things. And there was we or I would say Roine decided early on that it would only be a live album this time. So
Hmm.
no no video or DVD or Blu-ray or anything.
Hmm. Now,
But
on that note, you're saying you're going with to start writing. Did you guys do the same thing where you got together, talk about a theme, or are you going there blindfolded, not knowing what they got there? You'll find out in a few weeks or a week from now.
no, I've been over to Roiner's place he sends it's what do you say? It's the normal routine. He sends me demos and
Okay.
he sends us demos, and we give him feedback, tells him what we think, and then when we think we have what we need, I go over to Roiner's place. It's just like half an hour from here, and then we start to map out what key works for me best, and so on, and which part I will sing and which part he will sing, and so that's where we are right now. So next week we're going to. It's actually a great studio in the more southern part of Sweden. So we're going to go by train on Tuesday, I think. So that will be interesting to start the new chapter, to see where it ends.
Right on now. Do you have songs that you bring some stuff to the table?
Not this time around. I've been so focused on the Eternal Snapshots,
Yeah,
and after that, no, I haven't. No, I didn't contribute with any music this on this album.
but
I know,
it's early
I,
still. Still early, right?
yeah, I know Michael, the Royner's brother.
Yes, the bass player.
Yeah, he has at least one song. It might be more, but at least one song, and that is I get what do you say? Some crazy, almost like I've forgotten. Fripp and the guys. What are they called? That's super famous band. Oh, forget about it. It's been so long. It's gonna come to me soon.
Yeah,
It does not sound like the typical Flower King song. I can tell you that. It sounds a bit more weird and more in your face than normal. So that's a welcome thing, I would say.
oh, sure. And you guys
Really?
are never really, you guys always come up with some new idea, new energy, new different themes. Like certain albums, you can tell a frame of certain minds. Like Island, you can tell you guys did that during the COVID. It even speaks to the
Yeah.
vibe. You always seem to have a theme that, or something that in your guys' life that presents itself. So you don't have a working title yet. It's too early to, or do you?
No, we don't have a working title. I don't. To be honest, I have a hard time thinking that the lyrics are 100% ready yet. So we will only track the music down there. So and then we're gonna work in a drawing his own studio with the vocals later on. But I mean, I think most of the lyrics are done, but not all of them. I know he changes and it changes up until the very last minute. So so it's when it comes to the lyrics.
And then, and like everything, working in progress, songs are subject to change as they evolve, new ideas come in, or let's try this out. So yeah, well, good. I'm glad to hear that music to my ears already, knowing that you guys are back at the drawing table and working on another Flower King to add to my collection. I'm glad. Is there any other thing you would like to plug in before we wrap it up? Any announcements or anything we didn't discuss already?
Well, talking about live albums, we are actually going to record a live album in a couple of weeks or in a month with HFMC.
Oh,
We're gonna,
good.
we're gonna do a show at a rock club in our hometown, Uppsala. So the plan is to record, and hopefully we'll have a good night so we can release it. But the plan is definitely to record.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, for a release in 2025, of course.
Well, you're
So
always welcome. Come back and plug into more new music, and come back when you want to share the Flower Kings album. We would love to have you.
yeah,
I just want to say thanks again for making yourself available. I enjoyed talking and about all this stuff. So I want to tell our viewers out there, thanks for joining us. Please check out the HFMC discography. You can get a copy of Eternal Snapshot. And you can also go to this, Amazon Music, Spotify, iTunes. There's all those platforms out there to listen to it. But if you're like me, you want to get the physical copy. You get to get more information. That's the problem with the streaming, that you don't get all the detail, the lyrics, who wrote what. And that's always like that, because when you want to follow your band, you get to find out who wrote what and kind of get an idea this team effort, which is definitely a band effort record. Also, please share your comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember to visit our webpage, www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook and YouTube all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell to get a hold of all of our content we post. Please hit the like button on your way out. And remember, check down to the Ko-Fi donation page, the merchandise page, the Cameo page, and you can join the SOT membership by clicking on the join button like I did. I'm not only a co-host, a sidekick, but I'm also a member. Thank you for your support. I'm Rick LaBonte. Until next time, thanks a lot, everyone.